That point right there changed the world.
Is it true that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world?
Let me show you what it is.
Yeah, show me what it is.
Next thing you know, the whole world knows your name.
All done in this room.
Expect a miracle.
I'm Boo Mitchell.
I'm Dr. James L. Netters.
I'm Terry Freeman.
Hi, I'm Fred Davis from Memphis, and I'm tapping in.
I'm tapping in.
You can see I am tapping in.
I'm tapping in.
And I'm tapping in.
I'm Linda Swain. As co-founder of one of the world's leading travel companies, I've spanned the globe in search of the happiest people and places around the world for my work. Now join me on a trip to happiness. We're tapping in.
Now I'm seeing clearly. Happiness is near me. I can feel the power. Stronger by the hour. I'm taking a trip to happiness. I'm tap, 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 tap. I'm tapping in. I'm tapping in.
Let's go to the northernmost point of the Mississippi Delta, the place where the three kings,
Have a great time.
BB, Elvis, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. journeyed to chase a dream. Here guitars are carved, chicken is fried,
Use the stairs.
and ducks walk the red carpet. We're tapping into Memphis.
What's happening?
This morning, I'm walking in Memphis, on Beale Street, before it wakes up, with a musician who knows everything about Memphis,
Like, everybody wants you to come in, so they use the music to bring you in.
Memphis Jones. So you were named Memphis.
Yeah, that's a nickname. My dad thought that was a good idea. Kind of clever, huh?
How do you like your dad's idea?
Yeah, well, I love it. It really fits for me. I'd never be a bank president, but I could be a guitar player.
And Guitar Player Central is Beale Street.
Beale Street was the hub of entertainment and business. They called it the Negro Main Street of America. It said guaranteed good time, guaranteed success for anybody with heart.
In fact, an African-American millionaire with a heart, Robert Reed Church, saved the city from going broke in the 1860s. He gave former slaves business opportunities here after the Civil War, then began the molding of Beale Street into what is still the heart of Memphis, home of the blues.
As the blues came to Beale Street in Memphis, right around the turn of the 20th century, it grew out of the ground in the Delta, but it found a home in the cracks here on the sidewalks of Beale Street, right outside the bar rooms where people were spending money, and musicians, we're attracted to money like petty criminals. We gotta have it. We gotta have people telling us we're good looking. We gotta have people telling us we're awesome.
You're good looking, Memphis.
Well, cha-ching, just got paid.
And with that pay, you can buy things on Beale you really need.
Here's my neighbor right here. This is Tater Red. Oh my gosh, local celeb.
Nice to
this
meet
is
you.
Tater Red. See, this is a local radio disc jockey.
Let me hear you say, welcome to Memphis.
Mine was a little different. It's howdy, howdy, friends and neighbors out there in Radio Land. Your old buddy Tater Red. It's blues time. That's rock and roll. That's what we used to do every Sunday night.
I can tell you never forgot it.
No, I live it every day. This is Beale Street. That's what it's all about.
And when the sun goes down on Beale Street, the lights come up and the crowds pour in. They soak up the vibe outside on the street and inside the hot spots.
Looking good. Welcome to BB.
Like the original BB Kings.
Just like Elvis did, he adopted Memphis as his hometown, and he got a job on air as the Beale Street Blues Boy, and he shortened that to BB King, and now everybody in the world knows his name.
And tonight, the King Bees are rocking the house, like they have for decades here at BB King's. And no one looks happier about the blues than Solomon the bandleader. You have the best smile in Memphis.
And a lot of people have told me that.
It's the space between the notes. It's the feeling between the words that communicates so much, and that's what continues to draw people here. It's a very inclusive style of music.
And Memphis was raised with an inclusive spirit.
My father was the first white cop to ride in a city squad car with a black cop. And my dad really had a heart for that. He really had a heart for the music. South Memphis, where Stax comes from, soul music.
I can definitely feel the rhythm and soul in your heart, Memphis.
Well, that's nice. Thanks.
And I somehow see you playing right now. You see that vision?
I think I do.
So it all happened here. It all started here.
Yeah.
In this studio.
In this room.
In this room, in Studio A of Stax Recording Studio in Soulsville, is where blacks and whites gathered for the music in a segregated South. Now it's a museum.
Every single hit, every single record ever released on Stax in the Walk of Fame, leading to Studio A, where all the great music was made.
The music that beamed out from here established Memphis as one of the great soul capitals of North America.
This is the place on planet Earth, where Soul Man, Dock of the Bay, and they just say, hey, go get the engineer. I think we got us a record. And next thing you know, records and hits and history was being made.
Isaac Hayes' car.
Is that not amazing?
Oh my
Can you
gosh.
imagine rolling down the streets in the middle of the night, all these kids who they think that the future is close to them, and Isaac Hayes is rolling up in a gold-plated Cadillac? But that's what Stax is. Here was a guy named Jim Stewart, and he had a sister named Estelle Ashton. They just opened the doors and they let kids come in. Hey, you play piano, you play trumpet, you play bass, you play guitar. Next thing you know, the whole world knows your name. Come on in and let's use those gifts and talents.
And your dance moves on the Soul Train dance floor.
Without soul, you don't have funk. You certainly don't have disco. All of the popular dance musics in America today have roots right here in Memphis at Stax.
And Dock of the Bay, recorded here by Otis Redding in 1967, is still one of the most top 10 listened to songs around the world.
People are still discovering it.
It's fantastic.
Memphis soul.
Yeah, and you got it, Memphis. He's got it. A church in Stax.
The Hooper's Chapel, found out in the woods of the Deep South, and they rebuilt it here inside the museum. So as you experience the history of soul music in Memphis, you literally start your tour with the origin of the music.
So this music is rooted in the church.
Without the church as the foundation, there is no soul.
Coming up, I love your choir. From this church to this office.
This is me right here. This is Dr. King.
Revelations from two icons of the civil rights movement.
30 minutes before Martin was shot.
Where Elvis got his break.
Right spot with the right shoes.
And his clothes.
Come on in, young man.
All right, duckies.
And getting a lift with ducks.
I'm tapping in.
I'm tapping in.
Hi now, yes, sir.
Who you got with you?
This is Linda. Hey, man.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to our store. We're at Ground Zero, man. Memphis Fashion.
Here at the Grand Peabody Hotel. And we'll get to those ducks, is Hal Lansky, the second generation of fashion innovators of Lansky Brothers of Memphis. In the 1950s, his dad Bernard filled his store window with eye-popping pieces that attracted a young Elvis.
He saw this young man looking in the window and he said, come on in, young man. And Elvis was working as an usher around the corner. He said, I don't have any money, but one of these days I'm gonna come in and buy you out. He said, young man, he said, you don't have to buy me out, just buy from me. And that's what started the relationship.
Not just Elvis, but the story of the performers who Lansky Brothers has dressed hangs on these racks and on these walls around this pink fur coat. So this is Elvis's.
That's one of Elvis's coats. At that time, he bought 8 of them. This is a decade of fashion, Linda, that we're not too proud of. It's the 70s, and in the 70s, everybody thought they were pimps.
But in this decade, Lansky's recreates other Elvis looks, like his wedding jacket, that Memphis is happy to model.
And I love it.
Looks good on you, man.
It does look
Is that
good.
going to be cash or charge?
Well said.
They're famous for that.
Look at this is great.
Oh, isn't that cool?
Instead of buying a refrigerator magnet at a store, you can buy an Elvis jacket, and it really means something.
No wonder you're the great salesman.
Yeah. What I'm going to show you next is the most iconic jacket.
I got to have it right now.
I'm going to get it now.
I'm going to spin around like Wonder Woman. Make it happen. Here I go.
Here is a sweater Elvis wore in the movie Jailhouse Rock.
And this is you.
Right there. See the kid with the big ears? Oh man. So this is a 50s jacket, yonder. This is a kind of coat.
It's a style.
Yeah. We like to take credit for the black and pink color combinations of
Awesome.
the 50s. Yeah. Pink Cadillacs, pink Lasky shirts. It was all cool. That's why Elvis was so tough. You couldn't wear pink in the 50s, but he did.
Pink is very
You think I
good.
can pull it off?
I think you could even pull this
Word? Oh, I do it in a heartbeat. I'd wear this in the shower and just blow it dry. You know what I mean? This is the way to live right here. Only at Lansky's. How do you get away with selling this stuff to the public? Let's get out of here while we got the coats.
There we go.
Wow, that's insane. This is nice.
Well, these are flying off the hook.
My name is Anthony, Duckmaster here at the Peabody Hotel.
That's right. Anthony is only the 5th Duckmaster since 1933, inside the historic Peabody Hotel. It's also known as the South's Grand Hotel, the social and business hub of Memphis, where notables like Mark Twain enjoyed old fashions, where Elvis signed his first record contract.
Are you ready?
And I ran with Anthony after ducks on the roof of the hotel. After a few words from the Duckmaster,
No duck served on any menu here at the...
and before a standing room only crowd of the March of the Peabody Ducks.
You got this. Use the stairs, Mr. Duck. Thank you. Pose for the people, duckies. Pose nicely. Say hello to everybody. Oh, good day. The people, of course, really love the ducks, and I get to work on behalf of them. They don't give interviews as well. So.
And Anthony is quite a celebrity here.
Alonzi, very nice. Don't take offense, they're not petting ducks. These are professionals. Stay on target. Oh, excellent shake-off. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much again for joining us. Oh, you know what, Miss Linda, room for one more if you like. Come on in. Very cool.
The duck ride. Hi, guys.
Thank you.
Now up to the penthouse with our feathered friends. The ducks are actually wild ducks. They stay for 3 months before they are free to enjoy farm life.
Alonzi. Good job. Good job.
Oh, they know where they're going. Duck Palace.
Here we go.
Do they ever fly away?
This they've got. That whole downstairs thing is on-the-job training. Come on, duckies.
Here at the Peabody, these ducks are treated like royalty in their duck palace.
Well done, duckies.
And the March of the Ducks supports St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Some of the desserts and the cocktails, actually, portions of that go to St. Jude as well. So.
Fantastic. I guess I'll have to have a cocktail.
Oh, don't let me twist your arm.
Well, a cocktail will have to wait because the music continues tonight back at Stax. The next generation of great soul communicators are lighting up this room at Stax Music Academy.
I call it an all-star academy.
Because all of these kids are stars.
100%. Look at them. They're beautiful. All of these kids come from someplace different. So literally it's open to anyone who wants to come, and we're willing to work with you to get here.
That's so great for the community because kids have a place to go.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And express themselves and have music in their life.
Yep.
Freshman.
Freshman?
Senior.
Senior? All right, raise your hand if you're seniors. Music and school. What a great pair. Got it, what it takes, I'll tell you. You're fantastic. Fantastic. And I love the fact that you don't clap, you do this. Yeah. The Stax Snap. Snapping and excelling to impact the world through the universal language of music.
It's a mix, a melting pot of something beautiful.
Up next, how rock and roll launched from here. Oh, the Memphis sound from here. And Colonel Sanders, is this you?
Yeah, that's me.
From here.
The Colonel pulls up in his station wagon.
I'm tapping in.
All the magic happened between 1950 and 1960.
Elvis recorded his first single here, right?
That's All Right was done with Elvis actually standing right there in that spot where that X is on the floor.
I'm standing on the spot where Elvis sang his first record.
That's exactly right.
Elvis and many other icons of rock and roll came to this spot to record their first singles right here in this little room of Sun Studios.
You got the blue suede shoes. Hey, look, Carl Perkins right here on the wall. That was his big hit.
Which was the first million-copy hit at a Sun Studios.
So you're in the right spot with the right shoes.
This is a world
Covered the
changer.
entire world.
The world changed when Sun Studios creator, Sam Phillips, put music and harmony above all else.
The world changer, not just for the music, but even the civil rights. Sam was one of the first to record underrepresented blues and gospel musicians. It was probably the only place they could go in and make a record that same day.
And a day in 1951, on this sunspot, Jackie Brenston recorded the first rock and roll single, Rocket 88.
Whether you were white, black, young, old, you were all treated equally in this little room.
Music is a unifying force.
Absolutely.
And the force doesn't need much space.
This was the entire business, that room, that little front office, and then this room right here.
And in this room, you can shimmy up to the 50-style counter where they make sure you will never forget where you are.
He used that one-track Ampex tape machine and an RCA lathe. That would actually cut the record that same day.
Sam wasn't here, but his assistant, Marian Keister, was the day Elvis first walked into Sun Studios. Marian Keister discovered Elvis.
Pretty much.
Together, Marian and Sam launched a long list of Sun stars.
Folsom Prison Blues and I Walk the Line, all done in this room.
How old was Elvis there?
Elvis was 18 when he came in here for the first time. I was playing in G. Ready? 10 years older than him, and I still haven't gotten my big music break.
Well, it could be now.
In Stone Studios in the key of G. You ready?
Key of G, you got it.
Hey, this is Jerry Lee's old piano, no pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4. C. Way to go!
Awesome! You're the best.
Done. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, so when do we record it?
Sound signal gets recorded in there.
Record, record, and
Exactly right.
And the world changes.
That's exactly right.
That's so cool.
Then you got a #1 hit.
Yeah, we're gonna have one too with our.
Oh, clearly. I mean, that's already. I already talked to my guy, and we are tapping in.
It says, greetings to my dear friend, Jack Pirtle.
Is this you?
That's me.
Cordell and Tawanda.
We're going to have southern turnip greens. And these are so complicated. Linda, here, you can do this, sweetheart. There's a can that you get them out of.
Are entertaining me
Come on.
in their lovely home overlooking the Mississippi River. Cordell and Tawanda are the owners of Jack Pirtle's Chicken, a family business.
If you can step this way, I'm finna get ready to drop this tray of chicken right here.
Including Desmond.
Watch me work.
And over 120 other family members who put Colonel Sanders on the map in Memphis. Do you know, I don't think I've ever had turnip greens.
Oh, that's a southern delicacy.
Like their chicken liver bowl.
Let me get you a little gravy to go with this chicken liver.
And people are known to even drink Pirtle's gravy. This is a Memphis thing.
Memphis, yeah, all the way through Memphis. Like, Pirtle's is a Memphis thing.
A Memphis thing, which was the wind behind the wings of KFC, when in 1957, Cordell's father, Jack, was introduced to Colonel Sanders.
He said, my uncle is in town trying to get people to sell his product and nobody will do it.
So the Colonel pulls up in his station wagon, got his pots in the back, got his seasoning. He comes in and meets Mr. Pirtle, and they just hit it off.
So Jack made Kentucky Fried Chicken a Memphis hit and even opened up the first drive-thru in the South. Look at this tie.
You had to wear those ties. If you were a KFC person, you had to wear the tie.
But Jack Pirtle decided to ditch the tie and create a new secret recipe and cooking style for chicken. Then Cordell and Tawanda built up the business, now run by Tawanda's sister.
This is the stuff right here.
Pirtle's Chicken.
Pirtle's Chicken.
Oh, wow.
Linda, that chicken breast is just about bigger than you are. Is it good?
Mm-hmm. Too amazing for words. And so are the Pirtles, who support so many local charities with their Southern hospitality.
We're a company that truly believes that your soul's got to be right. So if your soul's right, your gravy's right, of course.
Can I quote you on that?
You can.
If your soul's right, your gravy's right. And the right way to eat gravy?
That's good. That's good.
Is on a Pirtle's biscuit. I can see why they drink it.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Luckily, the Pirtles have enough gravy to keep their customers and their enormous family happy, even in the face of life's challenges, including the loss of their daughter.
You have to go out some days and you have to put that smile on your face. If something happened today, if we burn a pot of chicken today, well, so be it. I mean, I can't go back and unburn that pot of chicken. People want hugs, they want love, and that's what's wrong with our world right now, is they don't eat enough fried chicken and gravy and biscuits. Linda, this is where we store the goodness. But the other thing is they don't love enough.
The goodness seems to be all around us.
It is.
Feels better already, doesn't it?
Want more chicken to go? Absolutely. Coming up, Boo Mitchell uncovers the secret
I'm working on.
of his Grammy win for Uptown Funk.
Come on in, girls.
And not your typical warehouse.
I'm tapping in.
I'm tapping in.
Grab the bourbon, come back, and I'm pouring it in Bruno's cup. He's like, yeah, Boo Mitchell, fill my cup, put some liquor in it. And that ended up in the song.
Oh, wow, this is great.
Yeah, so this place used to be a silent movie theater, and that's why the floor slopes.
And as in silent movies, sound is still king here at Royal Studios. And apparently, when you visit owner-producer Boo Mitchell, there's a test. It's not a drum.
It's not a drum. It's always been a lot of speculation on what that is. Can me show you what it is?
Yeah, show me what it is. And this big kid is a sound master. And his candy store has made hit after hit since 1968.
Larry Teeny Hodges wrote the music to Love and Happiness. And
it's a Coke crate.
Mm-hmm.
An all-purpose Coca-Cola crate.
All-purpose Coca-Cola crate.
Whatever instrument it takes to get that perfect sound.
The room has Muse.
Ah, the secret sauce for Boo's Grammy win for producing Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk. He brought the city of Memphis their first Grammy ever for Record of the Year.
We got Elvis, Al Green, Isaac Hayes, but never a win.
It took Boo Mitchell to come along and get that done. Check.
Check.
Boo is leaping in the shoes of his dad, the late Willie Mitchell.
So my dad was the pioneer of the Memphis sound in the early 60s. He discovered Al Green, and they put out 26 gold and platinum records right in a row.
So I see your dad's Life Achievement Grammy.
Yes.
Where's yours?
Oh, mine is here. It's
So yours is still in the box?
It's still in the box. I mean, I'm working on, you know.
No wonder it's hard to keep up.
This is just, believe it or not, just a small fraction of them.
We only had that much space on the wall.
Right.
And Lansky's designed their signature jacket.
Royal Studio 60th anniversary jacket.
Now that is very cool.
Yes.
And so you're not wearing it, but it's probably in a box next to your Grammy.
It's definitely in my closet.
What was one of the most powerful songs that was recorded right here?
Let's Stay Together was such a huge song. Everybody kind of forgot about love, but the only thing that is going to conquer hate is love.
Well, love and happiness has kept Royal Studios going for over 60 years.
So the real secret behind the studio is my Aunt Yvonne cooks these soul food dinners. Bruno Mars.
And this wall proves the soul food has muse.
Snoop Dogg, he could have his own font.
I hear music.
Yes, come on. He is the next big deal out of Memphis. He's been all over the place performing.
The legacy continues with Boo's son, Uriah. Uriah's future as an artist is one reason why Boo is also involved with Grammys on the Hill.
So we kind of stormed Capitol Hill and lobbied Congress for musicians' rights.
And so there's a spirit here, and a lot of it has to do with the music. It connects you to your soul.
Absolutely. Amen.
It was awesome. One of the most exciting places in Memphis, where a future superstar can be discovered, is also one of the most eclectic. And it's a private home.
Most people come by and they look inside the home. When you open, what are your hours? And we don't have hours. It's not a business. It's just our home.
Yep, this fun-filled venue, filled with Sharon's peacocks and Chris's smile, is home sweet home they lovingly call the warehouse.
Those were from Isaac Hayes' club.
Oh, they were? And every piece has a great story. The Addams Family?
Yes, from the TV series, The Addams Family. Not women, it's the high horse. We call it the high horse.
The high horse.
Cyndi Lauper had it on stage during her whole DVD that she filmed here.
People, know that we like things like that, so they bring them to us or tell us where they are.
Really? Who brought you the Rolls Royce?
Well, I've had that for years. I brought that down from Illinois when I came down here. There's 4 crystal shot glasses and a flask in each door. Yeah.
It's true.
There you go.
And when the police came by, what would happen?
You just shut this door, and they'd have to have a search warrant to open it.
But no drinking and driving here, especially in Chris's secret cigar room.
Come on in, girls. Welcome to the Bourbon and Cigar Room.
I like the jacket, but I think I want the bourbon.
There you go.
The warehouse is really no secret to the illustrious cast of characters, their tremendous events.
We just wanted to have a place to have fun and get to know people and have parties.
Okay, so you win. Okay. What's winning is they took a chance on reviving a neighborhood by renovating this former post office, which now delivers millions for charities with their events and amazing acoustics.
It's all 100-year-old hardwood. And we've had the symphony play here unplugged twice.
So no doubt, the perfect place to launch the next generation of talent, like Ashton Riker.
Come on, Linda, come sing with me. Come on.
Really?
Now I'm like, oh, like, oh, 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 like, oh, 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 like, oh, 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 oh,
Thank you.
Ashton, this is fantastic. Andrew, you guys are awesome. And now you have to have his CD party, right?
Oh,
Of
yes,
course.
yes, yes.
And they do have a living room with quite a guitar collection. This is the best post office I've ever been in. What is the magic of Memphis, do you think?
It's the people.
It is.
And the people are so friendly and easy to get to know.
And that's why they're all hugging you over on that wall over there. But I don't see my picture.
Well, I need to get a big hug from you then. How about that? All right. Got this for the wall.
We're tapping in.
Up next. Is this not the happiest place? The inspiration that drove two civil rights heroes.
I was being taken to the cotton field.
Living with my great-grandmother, who was a slave.
And how they carry on Dr. King Jr.'s dream.
His dream must continue to live.
I'm tapping in. I'm tapping in.
Is this not the happiest place? Sunday morning in Memphis. What stirs the soul is the hand clapping, foot tapping, heart pumping, hand holding, and love hugging Sunday morning service here at Mount Vernon Baptist Church in Westwood. And this church started with how many people?
About 50. If you counted the dogs and the chickens, you may get maybe 60 or 70.
And look at it now.
Well, it's been over 5,000.
Dr. James L. Netters is the longest-serving pastor in the city of Memphis, building this beautiful church community over the past 60-plus years is just one of a long list of accomplishments of a 90 years young
Yes, young, please.
icon of the civil rights movement who worked with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
I was there when he made this famous speech, I Have a Dream.
We will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together.
It changed my whole life, my whole perspective on what I should be doing. So I went to City Hall to try to get for those people things that they couldn't get for themselves.
So in 1967, Dr. Netters became one of the first African-American city council members. He then helped form a union for the sanitation workers, whose strike brought Dr. King to Memphis.
Sanitation workers were working in a deplorable condition, and that sign that they carried, I am a man, it was so meaningful. And for me to be able to help them to rise and be able to live like human beings.
And you were willing to risk your life.
Yes. I had the privilege of living with my great-grandmother, who was a slave. And they were fortunate enough to purchase 80 acres of land and pay for it.
And that inspired you through your entire life.
It had been.
What would she say to you that you remember?
They had to fight, pray, and live, and work hard, and keep faith that no matter how difficult things were, that it would be better.
And he heeded her advice when his friend Dr. King was killed.
Getting him to come to Memphis and helping us in the sanitation plight, and then to be killed brutally as he was, it just tore me apart.
How did you pick yourself up and move forward and do all this?
Well, it's so amazing that it's difficult to explain, but it's just God's work.
I just can't explain.
And God's work includes his son working the sound,
He calls me the upstairs pastor.
his daughter working in the back office, and his beautiful wife and grandchildren joining in the Sunday celebration. Reverend Netters, can I ask you a question? Is this heaven?
It's a good facsimile. There's a sign in the worship center that you've probably seen. Expect a miracle. And I'm one of those people who actually believe in miracles.
Amen. He said, "You Fred Davis?" I said, "Yes, I'm Fred Davis." He said, "Show me some ID."
No ID required for this icon of the civil rights movement. Fred Davis was already hard at work as I arrived at his office for our drive together.
I live in this community because young people be what they see.
So this is you.
This is me right here. This is Dr. King's last march that took place on March 28th, 1968.
And how old were you here?
33.
33.
If the successful African Americans moved to more affluent communities, the role models aren't where they are needed.
This community hit the jackpot with a role model who broke through barrier after barrier of inequality.
And I have been jailed during the 60s.
Fred rose to become the first African American to chair the Memphis City Council, and he worked with Dr. Netters to end the sanitation strike.
The amount of the sanitation workers' increase was negotiated in my living room.
I'll follow you. Fred negotiated the funding for this building that houses MIFA, an organization that has served families in crisis since Dr. King's death. MIFA started out of this terrible tragedy.
Well, that's true. The community determined something it could do immediately.
MIFA now supports 50,000 families and seniors.
We cannot do what we do without volunteers like yourself.
When we first started coming here, this walkway wasn't here.
And it's a privilege to join the Davises on their weekly meal delivery. Were you influenced by your parents?
I was influenced a lot by necessity.
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
I was being taken to the cotton field on the back of cotton trucks over in Arkansas. And then when I came back to Memphis to go to school, I was expected to catch up. And I did.
And he excelled. Fred was also one of the first African-American insurance brokers in the South.
She does the driving.
Oh, she do?
And I do the delivering.
Okay. I know you do the living because I remember your face. Oh, yes.
In the Lord's Prayer, it didn't say give us 2 days. It said give us this day.
MIFA is very important for you.
Oh, yes. I just love you know what? I never met a stranger.
Just use whatever gifts and training that you have to make the best of each day. That's critical. This is the 50th anniversary of our agents, and we're going to hang around for another 50.
I have no doubt.
So we are truly grateful for what you all do.
I think there's a hug coming. I just feel like it's a hug. Coming up, the courageous ride to civil rights.
We got on the bus and they wanted us to move back.
The strike that galvanized a nation.
2 men were killed on a sanitation truck.
Promotional considerations paid for by the following. I'm tapping in.
We want people to feel as though they're stepping back a little bit, but as they go through the museum, think about what's going on in today's society.
In 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stayed in this room, walked out to this balcony, and was shot from across the street and killed. He was only 39. The Lorraine Motel was the accommodation for many Black artists and notables in a segregated South. It's now the facade of the National Civil Rights Museum here in Memphis. This is a museum that I think everyone should see.
Absolutely. It talks about African Americans and understanding that we did not start as slaves. We started as Africans that were stolen from their country and brought to this country and then enslaved. And then we told the story of Reconstruction.
After the Civil War, there was a period of biracial democracy where the Reconstruction of the United States soared until the Jim Crow laws of the South took hold.
Just because something is done at one point in time in history doesn't mean that it can't be undone at a future point in history.
Jim Crow was the name coined for a racial caste system of discrimination and segregation between 1877 and the 1960s. Terry's great-grandfather knew discrimination firsthand.
He was an artist, and they would not accept his art once they found out that he was Black.
If you don't move out of that seat, I'll have you arrested.
There are some very powerful moments when you see Rosa Parks.
That was totally planned, and she was the third person to actually do that. So you go through the bus boycott. You learn about the Freedom Riders and the bombing of the bus.
In their attempts to desegregate interstate transportation, the Freedom Riders risked their lives. One of them was Dr. Netters, who met me outside under the balcony where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. lost his life.
That point right there changed the world.
And he inspired another world changer. There were 7 people who rode a bus one day when 500 people were meant to.
Yeah.
Can you tell me that story?
Yes. After we came back from the march in Washington, We were so inspired to integrate the buses and all the other hotels and restaurants in Memphis. So we met one Sunday night. 500 preachers decided that we were going to ride the bus, every bus in Memphis, in fact, on Monday morning. And we met next morning. There were only 2.
So 2 showed up
2 preachers.
from 500.
And there were 5 other lay persons.
And so you got on a bus and then you were greeted by a number of police cars.
Well, we got on the bus and they wanted us to move back. And when we got around to Crosstown and Union, 14 squad cars were there to take 3 blacks off the bus. They took us off, slammed us against the police car and arrested us, took us off to jail. We decided to have another meeting and then have another ride-in. The city officials called us in and said, if you will hold off, I think we can work something out. In the next few days, we got the word and the announcement that the buses in Memphis were integrated. 7 persons integrated the buses in Memphis. And we owe that to Dr. Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, who had done it in Montgomery, Alabama.
And
We
to
felt
you
it.
and your 6 friends who did it here.
Yeah.
Then another friend of Dr. Netter's, Dr. King Jr., came to Memphis for the next great challenge. This exhibit is very powerful.
Because it hits right here at home, where 2 men were killed on the back of a sanitation truck. So they took it upon themselves to say, we're going to strike.
We negotiated nickel by nickel.
Fred Davis tried to negotiate a 30-cent hourly increase for sanitation workers making $70 a week.
When we got down to 15 cents, I just dug my heels in. No matter how idealistic you are, if you can't translate that into people who will agree with you, then all the philosophy is not worth very much.
Up next, the news Dr. King Jr. missed by minutes.
And had passed it.
I'm tapping in. I'm tapping in.
We as people will get to the promised land.
I was sitting on the stage when he made that speech. What he said, I'm committed. I don't fear any man. You can't operate out of fear of what life offers. You have to go out there and accept the challenge.
It doesn't come without heartache at times.
And I've had my share of it.
Truly, a lot of people did die in order for us to have the things that we have.
It is said Dr. King called down with his last words to play his favorite hymn, Precious Lord, Take My Hand, at the service that evening. On the night that Dr. King Jr. was assassinated, what was going on in your world?
Well, I was in the Claridge Hotel with 9 city council persons developing a resolution to give the sanitation workers all of the things that they were asking for, and the same thing that Martin Luther King came to Memphis to accomplish.
Dr. Nettles and me, leading the group, have been pushing to settle a strike.
And we were there to pass that resolution and had passed it 30 minutes before Martin was shot.
We had the votes committed.
I went hysteria. I said, they've killed my man. He's dead.
You want to see a bunch of grown men crying, you know.
So the tragedy is, what Martin came to Memphis to accomplish was actually passed 30 minutes before, but was rescinded because 2 of the council persons would not support it. They backed down.
And that's because they heard the news that Dr. King was
killed.
Right here.
Yes.
The strike was resolved, and not till recently did the living sanitation workers receive a grant and a retirement plan.
In fact, we have one gentleman who is still working on a truck.
Really?
And yes, and so he says now he just might retire.
We shall overcome. We shall
Nothing could have been accomplished had it not been for the collective efforts of many people of different hue, religion, that were on the side of right.
You got on that bus, you helped with the sanitation movement, you did a lot. You have a lot of courage like he did. How do you feel about this picture now when you look at it?
I feel fortunate because This person is not with us anymore. This person is not with us anymore. That person is not with us anymore. That person is not with us anymore. So I feel very fortunate.
And you're here. You're here to spread the message, right?
I'm still here, so.
What's your secret?
God's blessing me.
God's blessing.
And He's got a mission for me.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me.
And we can't let Dr. Martin Luther King die. His dream must continue to live. And as long as I live, his dream will live.
If your theology says that all people are created equal, then that means all.
And to bring about a society where all men will live together as brothers and every man will respect the dignity and worth of human personality.
So not many.
7 persons integrated the buses in Memphis.
In tiny rooms.
You are all treated equally in this little room.
And old theaters.
Come on in and let's use those gifts and talents.
Took a view from the soul.
All people are created equal.
And what came out of it was extraordinary.
It's a melting pot of something beautiful.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Hi, I'm Linda Swain. Tell us how you and your community are tapping into happiness. Visit us at tappinginshow.com.
And I'm tapping in.
Tapping in.
We're tapping in.
Are you ready for this?
I am ready for this.
Life is getting thrilling. No more fears about me. I got my friends around me. I'm taking it to happiness. I'm tap, 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 tap. I'm tapping in.
Look at you.
I'm tapping in.